whenever you guys are ready. We're ready to be a good audience.
Sleeping Beauty's real name was Priscilla and was no beauty. Don't get me wrong, she was very pretty on the outside, but on the inside, that was a different story entirely. Her beautiful blonde hair did fall in perfect curls, but she made 5 maids redo it a dozen times each morning just to be me. And while she did have big blue eyes, they never twinkled with merriment. Instead, they glinted with malice and glared with anger. Her pretty mouth never smiled. It was too busy pouting and whining and yelling. Since the day she was born, Priscilla was absolutely convinced that she was far superior to everybody, and she treated all her parents' subjects and servants accordingly. She ordered them about day and night, making them run back and forth for her pleasure.
Go get me a new dress. I wanted that in pink.
She never said please or thank you. Instead, she stamped her feet, shook her fists, and complained about everything. Nothing was ever good enough. Her meals were too hot or too cold. Her dresses were too tight or too loose. The furniture was too hard or too soft, and so on. As you can well imagine, not only did Priscilla dislike everybody, but the feeling was definitely mutual.
This is too cold. That's not pretty. Go get me a new dress.
Priscilla's parents, the king and queen, were very kind. They loved their subjects and ruled them fairly. They were both extremely distressed about their only child's behavior and did all they could to improve her disposition. When Priscilla was a child, they hired the best storytellers and musicians to perform for her. They brought in other children for Priscilla to play with and filled her room with piles of toys. But Priscilla was rude to the storytellers, broke the musicians' instruments, and chased away the children. She hoarded her toys and asked for more, but she never played with them.
Once upon a time, there was
Be quiet, fool. Go away.
The king and queen became desperate. They even tried putting extra sugar into her meals, hoping to sweeten her tongue. But although the court dentist was pretty busy, nothing worked. As Priscilla's 16th birthday approached, the queen said to the king with tears in her eyes,
I am at my wit's end. We have tried everything we could think of, and nothing has worked. Our daughter is awful. She will never be a good successor to the throne.
and no one will ever want to marry her, even for half the kingdom. Besides, she would never accept anyone to be her husband.
Before we could give up, maybe we should consult our council once more. Perhaps someone has thought of a new idea we can try.
and that's what they did. All the royal counselors gathered in the royal meeting hall to offer their advice on this vexing situation. They murmured, knowledge, heavily, and scratched their heads wisely, but no one could think of anything to say. After 16 years, they were all out of ideas. Eventually, everyone realized that somebody would have to say something. One of the older counselors cleared his throat. He was retiring soon, and he felt he could take a little risk.
Let us approach this problem practically. For 16 years, we have been racking our brains to determine how to make Princess Priscilla more pleasant. Perhaps we should approach this dilemma from another angle. When is the princess most pleasant?
This was a difficult question. The princess was seldom in a good mood. Finally, after a lot of head scratching, one counselor said brightly,
The princess seems to be in a good mood yesterday when I saw her.
Well, what was she doing?
She was, twisting the royal cat's tail.
Well, that wasn't exactly what I was looking for.
Oh, what's the use? Priscilla's only pleasant when she's sleeping.
Aha, that is interesting.
Sleep is known to have, fervent and smooth powers. Maybe all the princess needs is a nice, long sleep.
What do you mean? Priscilla sleeps quite well, even if the bed is never made to her satisfaction.
When I say a long sleep, I mean a really long sleep. One that lasts for years if necessary.
For years? How is that possible?
Well, we could have the court magician cast a spell that would make the princess sleep until her temperament, mellows.
I guess that might work.
What if she never mellows? We can't just let her sleep forever.
I have it. The spell will work until either the princess becomes pleasant and happy, or until the 100 years have passed. If she is still sleeping after 100 years, a prince will find her and kiss her, ending the spell.
We will have to think about this for a while. No matter how terrible she is, Priscilla is still our daughter, and we must do what is best for her.
We have decided our decision on putting Priscilla to sleep. We will throw her a sweet 16 party.
You will give her an enchanted spindle as one of her gifts. She will for sure hurt herself. That will unleash the spell.
Perfect. On the day of her birthday, Priscilla had a great time. She yelled at all 5 maids who helped her get ready, pulled their hair, and made them change her dress and hairstyle 20 times. On the way to the ballroom, she tripped the servants who were carrying trays of food to the dining table and laughed heartily while they scrambled to pick up the broken dishes and clean up the food. She kicked her pet dog hard enough to send it flying across the room and snipped blossoms off all the flower arrangements.
Pick your dance corners, ladies and gentlemen.
The guests were horrified but said nothing. After all, she was a princess and it was her birthday. The king and queen sat helplessly and watched the little daughter tormented and honored the honored guest. They knew that if anyone was proposed to Priscilla, she would throw a tantrum.
The princess will now open her presents.
Airplane, spindle. Who ever heard of a princess spinning?
Examining the new weapon, Priscilla brushed the sharp point with her finger.
Ow!
She nodded satisfaction. Then she nodded again more slowly, and the nod was accompanied by a large yawn. A few minutes later, Priscilla was fast asleep. If the guests thought this would be her mistake, they did not mention it. They were only too happy to say their goodbyes and took her out of the palace. Most of them had come to the party after respect for the king and queen, and while they continued the poor couple, the guests did not want to spend any more time with the ugly princess. That was at the princess. After the guests left, the king and queen placed their daughter in a tower outside the castle wall. Their prince was more like a kisser as they did not have to go through the whole palace to reach her. The queen put the spindle near the bed at the sight of her king and her two sides to keep her in the castle. The king and queen made sure Priscilla was comfortably and ready to rest, that the room was warm and clean and visited her every day. As time passed, few people remembered Priscilla, and the tower in the wood became the center of their legends. The only true thing people remember was Priscilla's great beauty. People added new elements to the story, making fairy tales, fairies, and villains, which is made it more interesting. Some even Princess purchased one fairy called Snow, her party for the prince. And so the princess became more and more mysterious until no one remembered her nasty little thing. About 100 years after Priscilla went to sleep, a prince was riding through the forest or on the walls of the castle. He had heard many stories about the beautiful and mysterious Indian princess, and he was rather assured that she was meant for him. He spent days wandering through the forest, hoping to glimpse the tower. Thorny branches tore at his clothes and his skin. He and his horse were tired and hungry, but the prince determined to accomplish his mission. One morning, he spied the tower, which was lit by the rising sun. The prince hardly noticed the next few hours as he hacked his way through the brush. He was busy imagining what the princess would look like and composing what he would say to her. When the prince found into the tower, he found the door open.
Nice way to treat your horse.
The prince stopped and stared. He even pinched himself to make sure he was not dreaming. Until this moment, he realized he had not been completely convinced all his stories that were true. His knees were weak, and he had to hold the wall and he was falling down. The princess was as breathtaking beautiful as he had imagined her. For once, her face was relaxed and not screwed up in a scowl. Her many curls spilled onto the pillow, framing her face, and her clothes were very becoming. The century-old fashion was just coming back to his side. Once the prince reclaimed his wits,
slowly approached the bed, pushing Priscilla off the bed. Ferguson stepped back and he literally himself. The story was true. Slowly Priscilla opened her eyes and stretched. Then she looked up and saw the prince gazing at her with love in his eyes. With a second thought, she reached up and slapped the prince across his glowing, unsuspecting face. The scene still was not annoying. Of course, on his face, doubled and fell backwards, and all the words he composed flew up his head. This was certainly not what he expected.
What in the world do you think you're doing? How dare you barge in my room and push me off my bed? Guards! Guards!
The flabbergasted prince crawled backwards toward the door, rolled down the stairs, jumped on the floor, and galloped away. There was no anyone what happened. He was sure no one would believe him, or that anyone who did not would laugh at him for the rest of his life. One thing he did know for sure, he would be a lot more careful about whom he kissed in the future. Meanwhile, Priscilla was becoming unhappier by the second. She soon realized that she was not in her room in the castle, and no one was rushing to answer her call.